Unbothered is the topic tonight. Um, we want to talk about tonight one of the most popular stories in the Bible about Daniel in the lion's den. Um, this is a story that we're familiar with. I learned it at a very young age. The two stories that we always knew about was David and Goliath, Moses in the Red Sea, and Daniel in the lion's den is three of the most popular children's stories. And although I've been familiar with this story for quite a while, I never fully got a revelation from it when it comes to how I can apply it to my life as an adult. But this story is more than just a story for children. It's something that us adults can apply to our lives as well as your kids. So the topic tonight is unbothered. And we live in a culture where we use this term very frequently. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I ain't gonna really worry about it. I'll repost this after I record it. We use this term very frequently in today's society. Unbothered is the topic tonight. But a lot of us use this term and we really do be bothered. But blood pressure be 199 over 120 and we still walking around like we're really unbothered. But I'm gonna tell you one thing that I've discovered since I've been locked into God, that a lot of times before Christ, when I was talking about that I was unbothered or nonchalant, I was really bothered. It's hard to be not bothered if you ain't got the Holy Spirit. It's hard to be unbothered if you don't have a relationship with the Lord. So you can say it as much as you want to, but I guarantee you, if you really get to the root of the thing, you really are bothered. Hair start falling out. You bothered. You can't sleep at night. You got to take a drink of wine just to relax. You are bothered. This is the most bothered generation ever because we got access to so much information. So it's very difficult not to be bothered, because some of us scroll all day on social media. We listen to that person. We watch this person. We listen to this podcast. We in this person business. We worried about what's going on with P. Diddy. What's going on with this celebrity. So we bothered. But in order for us to achieve that true being unbothered, we got to have the Spirit of the Lord dominating in our lives. And right now, Daniel is in another situation where he is truly not bothered, although it's justified if he is bothered. We have seen Daniel navigate some very challenging situations since we've been talking about him in the book of Daniel. And tonight we're going to talk about how he has allowed himself to get in another unfixable situation where he should very well be bothered. It's justified. But this situation that he's being placed in tonight that we're going to talk about, he's going to be surrounded with lions. This is a life or death situation. Anything in your life that consists of life or death, that's a situation where you probably more than likely should be bothered. A bad doctor's report, you should be bothered. But right now, Daniel is around 80 years old and he's in Babylon, this pagan country, prosperous land, unbelieving land, where we've seen him come under three different rulers. He's been under King Nebuchadnezzar. He's been under what we talked about last time, King Belshazzar. And King Belshazzar was assassinated in the last chapter where we talked about. He was out partying, clubbing, living his best life, and the enemy rolled up on him and took him out. The topic of that particular live was just like that. It's on my YouTube. Go check it out. But now is another king, another ruler that has come into this land of Babylon, and Babylon has been overtaken by the Medes Persian Empire. So Daniel, has been under Nebuchadnezzar, he's been under Belshazzar, and now he's under this ruler named Darius from the Medes Persian Empire. Babylon is no longer at the top of the food chain. Now Medes Persia has come in, and now Daniel is having to get familiarized with a new culture, new rules, and a new government. Let's see how this works out for him. And the topic tonight is Unbothered. Chapter 6, verse 1 through 3. Daniel, New Living Translation, says, Darius the Mede decided to divide the kingdom into 120 provinces, and he appointed a high officer to rule over each province. The king also chose Daniel and two others as administrators to supervise the high officers and protect the king's interest. Daniel soon proved himself more capable than all the other administrators and high officers. Because of Daniel's great ability, the king made plans to place him over the entire empire. Now you got a new ruler that's coming to this land, and we see already Daniel has been promoted. Just like that was the topic last time. But what I see in these first 3 verses is Daniel got this supernatural favor. And when you have that supernatural favor that comes from fellowship, devotion, spent time with the Lord, it don't matter who the king is. It don't matter who the president is. Because when you are sold out for the Lord, it don't matter if you're Republican, it don't matter if you Democrat, but I'm telling you, if you don't have a relationship with the Lord, it don't matter who you vote for. It don't matter who's in the office. It ain't gonna work out in your favor anyway. Daniel got this supernatural favor, not from voting, but from relationship with the Lord. I think we get the two mixed up. He's sold out for the Lord. He's a devoted man. He's fellowship with the Lord consistently. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. But when you live for the Lord, the word says that you're a peculiar people, a holy nation, a royal priesthood, which means you live on a different set of the rules of everybody else. So it don't matter what's in government. It don't matter what the economy look like. It don't matter what's happening to everybody else. But when you become part of the kingdom, you under a different set of rules. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight with Daniel, because Daniel has been promoted already. And this king just became king. He was promoted under Darius. He was promoted under Nebuchadnezzar. He was promoted under Belshazzar. And none of them really knew him. But it don't matter who know you. It don't matter if they're mentioning your name. It don't matter if they follow you over social media. It don't matter. As long as the Lord know your name, as long as heaven knows your name, he can whisper into the ear of the person and they'll promote you and put you in position. But we don't really believe in that. We believe in human effort. So we would much rather show up showing off our accolades, want to be seen in performance mode when you need to be performing on your face and spending time with the Lord. And the Lord will whisper to the person if he really wants you to get that promotion. That's what Daniel did. Daniel didn't go around showing off, wanting to be seen. His gift has made room for him. That's what Daniel did. Daniel didn't go around showing off, wanting to be seen. His gift has made room for him once again. Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, and now with Darius. But what I like about this particular part of these 3 verses, and it says, because of Daniel's great ability, the king made plans to place him over the entire empire. The entire empire, the entire nation of Babylon, this unbelieving pagan king is about to promote a believing Israelite. That don't make sense. But Proverbs 18:16 says, your gift will make room for you and place you before great men. Daniel has a mighty gift. He is wise, he is intelligent, and he has a great ability, and he is more capable than all the other administrators and high officers. Why? Because it's a relationship with the Lord. He got a real excellent spirit. When you spend time with the Lord, he gives you a glow, a excellence where even unbelievers can recognize something that's different about you. They recognize like it's something different about you, bro. It's something different. Even Darius can see that Daniel has an excellent spirit about him. And I've experienced that before in corporate America and in the church. In corporate America, I always was quick to get promotions. Even though I probably didn't have the tenure of other people, but I probably once upon a time was over 65 to 70 men, and probably 2/3 of those men I was younger than, and I was black. It had more to do with my excellence from spending time with the Lord than my ethnicity or my degree. It happened when I was in the church. The man of God that I was submitted to for 5 years ended up making me his armor bearer, even though it was other individuals, other men who had been at that church longer than me. And when you have that type of favor, let me tell you something, it's going to be some jealous people. It's going to be some people who talk about you and criticize you because you are surpassing them, and they don't know why you surpassing them. He younger than me. Why he get promoted? I've been here 20 years. I've been doing this. He don't really know Bishop like that. Why is he already next to the man of God and he ain't even been here that long? It's that excellent spirit. It's that favor that comes from the devotion. That's what Daniel has. And you have access to a same spirit that'll give you that type of favor. But you got to do more than just go to church. You got to do more than just pray in the morning time and pray at night. Daniel lived a lifestyle where he spent intimate time with the Lord all the time, every day. Verse 4-5 says, then the other administrators and high officers began searching for some fault in the way Daniel was handling government affairs, but they couldn't find anything to criticize or condemn. He was faithful, always responsible, and completely trustworthy. So they concluded our only chance of finding grounds for accusing Daniel would be in connection with the rules of his religion. Not only does he have an excellent spirit, not only is he more capable than all the other administrators and high officers, not only does he have a great ability, not only is he wise and intelligent, but he's faithful and he's responsible. Part of being a man, part of being a disciple, part of being a man of God is you got to be faithful and you got to be responsible. You can't be a responsible individual if you lack accountability. That's whether you're a man, that's whether you're a woman. So I don't really have to know your personal life. I don't need to see your birth certificate. I don't need to know your social security number or your zodiac. If I see where you don't hold yourself accountable, you may not be that responsible. That's not excellent. But Daniel is faithful. He's always responsible and he's completely trustworthy. And this joker keep on winning. And these folks don't understand how in the world does this man keep getting promoted every time a new ruler comes in over this nation of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar promoted him. Belshazzar promoted him. And now Darius the Mede has come in and promoted this man over the entire empire. They are questioning whether or not what's different about Daniel, man. They don't really know. They don't really know he got that favor. So when people aren't able to figure out why you keep getting promoted, why you keep getting the jobs, and why you keep having supernatural things happen to you, is because they don't understand favor. And when they don't understand the favor on your life, they become jealous. They start peeping around corners trying to see flaws in your behavior. Yeah, that's what a jealous spirit, a religious spirit is what I like to call it. Yeah. When I was in the church, they trying to accuse me of doing something that I wasn't even doing. I saw a clip the other day of a dude that I used to listen to. I don't really listen to him anymore. And he was sitting up there talking about, you know, when you go to church, no leader, no pastor, no preacher should allow no young man, no single young man to come into his congregation who don't practice abstinence. Because that's a red flag. He need to allow his discernment to not let that young man come in there and sleep with all the women. But see, that's the same spirit that almost chased me out of the church, because I was that young man that was not practicing abstinence. I was that young man that was single. And I was that young man that was also broken. Where do I supposed to find Jesus? So you go put me out the church because I'm not practicing abstinence and I'm single and there's a lot of women in here? No, that's not Bible. That's why people don't like going to church, because of that mentality like that. Everybody needs to have an opportunity to get in the presence to meet Jesus. Everybody don't know how to get to Jesus, so they are going to the church, and because we are immature and underdeveloped and religious, we mishandle people because we think that people are supposed to be already ready when they come to church. No, that's the whole point that I'm coming to church, fool, because I don't know. So I'm coming to church and y'all saying I'm sleeping with the women at the church. No, I'm not. I'm not practicing abstinence. And I am single. And I do got a grimy background, but I am broken and I don't know what else to do besides come to church. And when I'm going to church looking for the Lord, looking for Jesus, it's people over here whispering, lying, talking about I'm sleeping with the women at the church. That's exactly how these people are doing Daniel, because he has favor on his life. And as soon as the man of God pulled me into his ministry and say, I want you to be my armor bearer, I want you to be my right hand man, the rumors and the lies increased. So I'm up here trying to explain myself to individuals because I had some favor on my life. Bishop, I saw Reggie going down the highway on the interstate. I was doing 75, so I know he had to be doing 85. They running back to Bishop, telling Bishop stuff about me speeding down the daggone interstate. They talking about, oh yeah, I saw Reggie after church Sunday sitting in the parking lot talking to Anita for 3 or 4 hours. They must be sleeping together, bruh. See, you're lying. See, when people don't understand that supernatural favor on your life, they start to hate you. They become jealous. But let me tell you, before y'all get too excited about this favor that we all have access to, let me tell you something. Don't pray for the rain if you can't handle the mud. Denzel said that in Equalizer, do not pray for the rain if you can't handle the mud. If you can't handle people being jealous and hating on you, you probably need to not really tap into this favor that I'm talking about, because Daniel is being lied on and they are jealous of him and trying to find stuff that's wrong with him because of the favor on his life. And this is the thing that stuck out to me. These folks not hating on him because of his religion. They're not hating on him because of his faith. They're not hating on him because of his belief. They are hating on him because of the favor that comes from his belief, that comes from his faith, that comes from his relationship. That's the thing. They're not hating on you because of your belief. It's the favor that comes from your belief that accumulates and attracts haters. They don't care nothing about what you believe in. They ain't hating on you because you believe in Jesus. The hate go come when they start seeing the favor on your life. That's the difference. He's always been a believer. He's always been submitted to the Lord. He's always been a devout, righteous man. It wasn't until he started acquiring and getting favor where these men started trying to find stuff wrong with him. The word says that the administrators and high officers began searching for some fault in the way Daniel was handling government affairs, but they couldn't find anything to criticize or condemn. They looking for flaws. They can't really find nothing, so they'll make up some stuff. Always peeping around corners. Look at her. She know that dress too short. Look at her. She know that ain't her real hair. Look at her looking like a Jezebel. Y'all love saying this. I'm talking about the women. She ain't even that cute. Yeah, true enough, I was responsible for inviting a lot of attractive women to the church. But the women who were already members, first ladies and elders and deaconesses and children ministry, first thing they say, she ain't even that cute. Bruh, ain't nobody even thinking about that. That girl trying to see Jesus and you up here talking about she ain't that cute. Territorial. And I ain't talking about the OnlyFans model. I'm not talking about the OnlyFans model. I'm talking about the women who sit on the front row and second row and on the praise team and on the hospitality team and on the greeting team and on the media team. Talking about the women who come into the church talking about she ain't that cute. That's how these folks treating Daniel, trying to find something wrong with him. And they throw shade. They give you side eyes. Yeah, somebody can tell. You can tell when some people don't care for you. You don't have to have the Holy Spirit to know when somebody don't care for you. Ushers are rude. Greeters are rude. They nice to everybody else, but they mishandle this attractive young lady over here. They mishandle this attractive young man over here. Why? These unbelievers are mishandling Daniel. And we go to church every Sunday and we act just like these unbelievers in Daniel 6. They trying to criticize this dude and find something wrong with him. Some of them watching me now. They ain't gonna like nothing. They ain't gonna share nothing. They ain't gonna comment. But I got discernment and I see you. You're on the outside looking at all my lives. So your name don't pop up. You don't comment or nothing, but I see you. You a hater. And I ain't did nothing wrong. I just got favor. You feel me? But guess what? I prayed for this rain so I can handle the mud. They'll go as far as to, if they can't find nothing wrong with you, they'll lie on you. But I see Jesus in this. They did the same thing to Jesus. If you really want to be sold out to the Lord, for the Lord, and have access to this supernatural favor that Daniel has access to, you got to be able to handle folks lying on you, because they did it and doing it to Daniel, and they're going to do it to Jesus. They go do it to you. Go to Matthew 27. Let's talk about Jesus right quick to see how we can see him in Daniel 6, because they did the exact same thing to Jesus. Matthew 27 verse 11. And it says, now Jesus was standing before Pilate, the Roman governor. Are you the king of the Jews? The governor asked him. Jesus replied, you have said it. But when the leading priests and the elders made their accusations against him, Jesus remained silent. Don't you hear all these charges they are bringing against you? Pilate demanded, but Jesus made no response to any of the charges, much to the governor's surprise. Now, it was the governor's custom each year during the Passover celebration to release one prisoner to the crowd, anyone they wanted. This year, there was a notorious prisoner, a man named Barabbas. As the crowds gathered before Pilate's house that morning, he asked them, "Which one do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" He knew very well that the religious leader had arrested Jesus out of envy. That's it. He hadn't did nothing wrong. He just got favor. He just got influence. He just got power. He just got authority, and the people love him. So now, because they are envious. Verse 19 says, just then as Pilate was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent him this message: "Leave that innocent man alone. I suffered through a terrible nightmare about him last night." Meanwhile, the leading priests and the elders persuaded the crowd to ask for Barabbas to be released and for Jesus to be put to death. So the governor asked again, "Which of these two do you want me to release to you?" The crowd shouted back, "Barabbas." Pilate responded, "Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?" They shouted back, "Crucify him." Why? What crime has he committed? But the mob roared even louder, "Crucify him." Pilate saw that he wasn't getting anywhere and that a riot was developing. So he sent for a bowl of water and washed his hands before the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. This responsibility is yours." And all the people yelled back, "We will take responsibility for his death, we and our children." Memorize this particular excerpt from Matthew 27:11 through 25, because we're going to see this same thing happen tonight in Daniel 6, where Darius, the king, the ruler of Babylon, is going to have the same mental as Pilate. Matthew 26, verse 59. These same religious folks, Matthew 26:59, inside it says the leading priest and the entire high council were trying to find witnesses who would lie about Jesus so they could put him to death. But even though they found many who agreed to give false witness, they could not use anyone's testimony. Finally, two men came forward who declared, "This man said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days." What are you trying to say, Reggie? What I'm trying to say is they lied on Jesus because they couldn't really find nothing wrong with him. They couldn't condemn him. He was perfect. So they started lying on him. And I'm telling you, when you are praying for this level of favor, this type of rain, you got to be able to handle when folks go lie on you. And you have to do what Jesus did in Matthew 27. He remained silent. When you start going back and forth in the comment section, going back and forth on the porch, going back and forth at dinner, going back and forth at the football game, let them folks talk. A lot of us can't have access to this level of favor that Daniel has because we don't know how to be quiet. Jesus remained silent even though they were lying on him. And I'm telling you, I tell us all the time to stay out of people's comment section. Why? I'm trying to get you to practice so you can be equipped with the favor. The Lord ain't gonna give you the favor if you don't learn how to control your mouth, because you will spend more time arguing than spreading the gospel. You will spend more time trying to win than winning souls. Use this opportunity to practice to learn how to shut your mouth. Why? So you can have access to this favor, because folks go talk about you. Folks go lie about you. And you can't get distracted because they lie. You got to do like Jesus. Remain silent. If you don't learn how to remain silent, the Lord said, I can't trust you with this type of favor because you can't handle the mud. You can't handle the mud. You can't enjoy the rain because you're too focused on the mud. And I have to practice this myself. I have 500 positive comments on a post. See one negative comment and I zone in on that one negative comment, and the Lord will rebuke me and say, see, you focusing on the mud. I sent you all this support. I sent you all this other love, but you honing in on the negative, one negative comment. So I have to shut my mouth. That's why you don't see me going back and forth in the comment section. But we do not know how to shut up. And the fact we don't know how to shut up, you're preventing the Lord from giving you this type of favor because you will mishandle the gift. Jesus didn't do that. Daniel ain't gonna do that. Daniel 6:6-9. So the administration and high officers went to the king and said, long live King Darius. We are all in agreement. We administrators, officials, high officers, advisors, and governors, that the king should make a law that will be strictly enforced. Give orders that for the next 30 days, any person who prays to anyone, divine or human, except to you, your majesty, will be thrown into the den of lions. And now, your majesty, issue and sign this law so it cannot be changed. An official law of the Medes and Persians that cannot be revoked. So King Darius signed the law. So these haters have come up with a plan to set Daniel up. They exerting a lot of energy in trying to find some dirt on Daniel. Let's not be those people who spend more energy trying to find out dirt on some other person, some other leader, than trying to search and figure out Jesus. Some of us follow platforms and follow leaders who spend more time talking about dirt on other leaders than really edifying Jesus. Those two are not the same. And I keep repeating myself when it comes to this stuff because we spend too much time on trying to figure out dirt, demons, demonology, all this other stuff. And then when somebody asks us about Jesus, we sound like Elmer Fudd. But we know everything about P. Diddy. Everything. But when they ask you about Jesus, what'd you say? Studying about what P. Diddy doing ain't gonna help your life. It's just gonna give you something to talk about at the break room table. We're so easily distracted, just like these unbelievers in Daniel 6. These unbelievers have tried to find some dirt and they have come up with a plan to deceive King Darius. But what I see right here in these 3 verses is ego. Ego. They played on King Darius's ego. They say, hey, King Darius, let's come up with this plan to where if anybody in the land worship anybody except you, we go throw them in the den of lions. This was an opportunity for King Darius to get his ego stroked. Yeah. So he took the bait. And what I'm telling you is a trick of the enemy. He know how to get you to compromise your devotion and integrity like King Darius. See, a lot of us chase clout, chase attention, chase money, chase promotion. We want to be worshiped. And the enemy knows that, so he'll place it before you, and because you want to gratify yourself, you'll end up getting tricked. And that's what has happened to King Darius. He has gotten deceived. These people have tricked him. That's why we got to be careful. We got to be careful about chasing stuff other than Jesus. Because the enemy will trick you out of your spot because he see that you like attention or clout or money. Those things that you chase will cause you to disobey the Lord. I got a question for us though. Remember, these men are trying to set up a law to where if anybody in the land worships or prays to another god other than King Darius, they're throwing them in the den where the lions at. But my question to y'all is, what if the government passed a law like this for us in the United States, where you can't worship or pray to Jesus? What if? For 30 days, no more live, no more church, no more YouTube. What you gonna do? The topic tonight, that's right, tread straight. It's coming. The topic tonight is unbothered. If the government say, hey, for 30 days, you can't pray. I'm gonna be like, oh, okay. For 30 days, you can't worship. Okay. You can't stop me from praying, fool. What is wrong with you? How you gonna stop me from praying? You can't. I'm praying now, mouth not moving. You can't tell if I'm praying or not. It's in my head. Praying right now. Just said a prayer right there. You ain't here. You can't stop me from praying. The fact that we were once upset about them taking prayer out to school shows us how underdeveloped we were as believers. Because if you have taught your kids how to pray for real, we wouldn't have been bothered by them taking prayer out of the schools. Because we know you can't stop me from praying. You can't. The topic tonight is unbothered. No one can stop me from praying. No one. You have to unalive me. You can't stop me from praying. Just like it didn't bother me when they closed the churches for COVID. That did not bother me. Because church was the icing on the cake. It was not the cake. Church was the appetizer, not the main course. We have flipped it and made church the main course, your devotion the appetizer. And we have flipped it and made your devotion the icing and church the cake. That's why we were so bothered. We got it out of order. Church is just the appetizer, baby. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's the main course. But we got shook and we got exposed during COVID. And the Lord said, I told y'all didn't know me like that. Because my true believers, the people who are sold out for me, was not bothered by them shutting the doors of that church at all. I actually matured even more because I saw what the church had become an idol and had become a distraction. Because I was more concerned about what I was going to wear on Sunday morning than actually getting into the presence of the Lord. So I was more focused on my private time than the gathering part. Now, we should place value in forsaking not the assembling of yourselves. Because religious folks go always come back with that little verse that don't really make no sense. It do, but it don't. Because As soon as a religious person hear that I hadn't been to church in 4 years, they'll say, the word says, forsake not the assembling of yourselves. But let me tell you how miscued and how blind we are. If you really about that life for real, don't you got kids? Don't you got a husband? Don't you got a wife? Are y'all not assembling at home or not? I'm just asking the question because we wait to assemble to get to church when you should have assembled around the dinner room table, on the couch, at the football game, after practice, before you go to work, at the lunchroom break table, like that type of stuff. Like, why we gotta wait to get to church to assemble? And not to mention, this is an assembly right here. We think too small. And then half of the time, y'all ain't talking to each other at church anyway. Y'all get there late, sing songs, listen to the pastor, and leave. And don't talk to nobody, don't talk to each other till next Sunday. So what are we really doing? I'm just asking the question. I ain't saying don't go to church. I ain't talking bad about church. I'm just saying we have placed too much value on the building. And that's why we don't get access to this level of favor that Daniel has access to, because we go talk about his devotion. But I'm just trying to say, like, why are we so upset when the government possibly could say you can't pray no more and they closed the church down? We got exposed. We lost our minds. Because we don't be in that secret place like that. If you in that secret place, boy, you don't be bothered by nobody. I don't care about y'all shutting no church down. I don't care. You can't shut the doors of the secret place. I don't care about you shutting the doors of the church. You can't shut the doors of that secret place, though. See, the secret place where we should be upset if they shut the doors, but they can't shut them doors. Now, if they say, hey, we go shut the doors of the secret place. Now, I'm finna act a whole fool in. You feel me? Oh, I'm finna go crazy. I'm about to crash out. But they can't do that. That's when we supposed to get upset. But we place more value on the church place than the secret place. And that's why we can't get access to this favor that Daniel has. And they said, you can't pray, worship for the next 30 days. And if you do, we're going to throw you in the lion's den. King Darius signed off on this law. But check this out, though. Verse 10 through 12, Daniel 6. The topic tonight is unbothered. But look, though. Bro, I like that. I like that boy. That boy's so cool, bro. The topic tonight is unbothered. I got a question. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Let me ask you this. Why didn't we respond like Daniel going to respond right here in Daniel 6 verse 10 when they shut the doors of the church during COVID? It says, but when Daniel learned that the law had been signed, he went home unbothered, knelt down as usual in his upstairs room. With his windows open towards Jerusalem, he prayed 3 times a day, just as he had always done, giving thanks to his God. Then the officials went together to Daniel's house and found him praying and asking for God's help. So they went straight to the king and reminded him about his law. Did you not sign a law? For the next 30 days, any person who prays to anyone, divine or human, except to you, your majesty, will be thrown into the den of lions? Yes, the king replied, that decision stands. It is an official law of the Medes and Persians that cannot be revoked. Daniel was not bothered at all. He stopped by Chick-fil-A, got him I don't even know. I ain't been to Chick-fil-A in so long, but I think I used to get a number 7. Yeah, with honey roasted barbecue, large fry, large lemonade, no ice. Yeah. He stopped by Chick-fil-A. Man, I'm finna go to the house. Ain't nobody worry about that little funky law. He unbothered for real. His lips ain't even ashy. He ain't bothered. He ain't nervous or nothing because they didn't close the doors of the secret place. He went on about his business. He went home and knelt down as usual. This is his routine. This is his routine. He prayed 3 times just as he had always done. This is his lifestyle. This is not a response to bad news. This is his lifestyle. This is not a New Year's resolution. This is his lifestyle. This is not an emotional reaction to a live, to a sermon, to a podcast. This is his lifestyle as usual, as he had always done. This is just what he do. We don't act like this until we get a bad doctor's report. We don't act like this until we get inspired, and we may do it for 2 weeks and then we fall off. Because it ain't no relationship. It's an emotional reaction. It's a response to something that has happened. No, we got to get to the point where this becomes a lifestyle. You just pray because it's coming from a place of relationship, not because you in a bad place. No, you got to learn to pray. You got to learn to consecrate yourself from a place of relationships. So you do it, guess what? When you don't feel like it. That's what relationships consist of. You don't just do it because you feel like it. You do it because you know that's what you're supposed to do, and you love that person. You love God. So even if I don't feel like praying, I still pray. Even if I don't feel like going live, I still go live. Even if I don't feel like fasting, I still do it. So when I get into a natural relationship, I've already practiced in my divine relationship with the Lord. So if you ain't practice this with the Lord, don't think because a man show up or a woman show up, you just automatically start to not be wanting to compromise. No, you need to be practicing that now. This is his lifestyle. This is just what he do. He has already conditioned himself. But what stuck out to me in them verses is he prayed 3 times a day. Not only is this a lifestyle, he prayed 3 times a day. Got a question for y'all. How many times you pray a day? Don't put it in the comments because somebody finna try to flex. I prayed 55 times today. This is a rhetorical question. Just think about it. Don't put it in the comment section because I don't want to open up no opportunity for you to be trying to flex. You feel me? Because we will flex. Real bad. And lie. But just think about it. How many times do I pray a day? Daniel said 3. I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I don't know how many times I pray a day. That's the honest to God truth. Because it varies from day to day. I don't put God in no box. I don't put him on a schedule. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really know for real. It just depends on what's going on that day. I don't really be keeping count for real. But I do know it's more than 3. I do know it's more than three, but I do pray when I wake up. I do pray before I go to bed. But sometimes I pray when I'm working out. Sometimes I pray when I'm washing the dishes. Sometimes I pray in the shower. Sometimes I pray when I'm brushing my teeth, washing my face. Sometimes I pray while I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna wear. Sometimes I pray when I'm sweeping. Sometimes I pray while I'm watching college football. Sometimes I pray when I'm listening to Tony Evans. Sometimes I just pray randomly. Sometimes my brother drop in my spirit and I just pray. Sometimes my nephew Shiloh just drop in my spirit and I just pray. Sometimes my parents just drop in my spirit and I just pray. Sometimes I pray verbally. Sometimes I pray in my head. Sometimes I pray in the spirit, speaking in tongues. So I don't really be keeping count. I just be praying. But I know it's more than 3 times. I had a young lady hit me up, a new believer. I told you them new believers be going in, boy. I promise you, I love you, but I promise you, like I really, them new believers, boy, who just got saved. Boy, them jokers be so self-righteous. I had a young lady hit me up one time. I could tell she a new believer. Cause she was trying to preach in my DMs, and don't be preaching in my DMs. All of that good stuff. So that's write that down. Don't preach in my comment section. Don't preach in my DMs. I don't really want to be hearing that for real. But she was like, I prayed 4 times a day. Oh, okay. Bro, I don't care nothing about what you telling me for? Trying to flex. But anyway, I know I pray more than 3 or 4 times a day because it just randomly hit me and I just pray. But let's talk about this though, because I don't want to read past this too fast. What is prayer? Think about it before you just think about it, because I'm telling you, what is prayer? Prayer is communication with God. Communion with our Father. Hold up now, hold up. Y'all moving too fast. I need for you pump the brakes real quick. Pump them. Push it down. Push it, y'all. Push it. Cause I think I'm finna put you on game right quick. You feel me? It says communication with God and communion with our Creator. What's communion? I ain't talking about drinking no wine and drinking no bread. I ain't talking about that. Communion is the sharing or exchanging of intimate thoughts and feelings, which means sometimes prayer involves see that part of prayer we don't really value. We just want to run our mouth. We just want to talk. Yap, blah, 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 blah. Be quiet. Prayer consists of communion, which means it's a dialogue. He talking, I'm talking. I'm listening, trying to understand. He listening. It's a back, but we just talk, and then go to sleep. Bruh, golly. My Lord. My Lord. Sometimes my prayer consists of me waking up in the morning and sometimes my prayer consists of me in the shower and I'm just. Sometimes prayer consists of me riding down the road and I just. Sometimes prayer consists of me sitting at a table and I'd be like, ooh, ain't no radio or TV on. I'm tweaking. It's just quiet. Like, hold up, bro. I'm tripping. I don't like for it to be that quiet. But sometimes that's prayer when the Lord just starts to download. Sometimes I can be preparing for the word and the Lord starts giving me a download during the halftime of the game. And I just got to pull my phone out and just start boom, boom, boom. I'm not talking. I'm just boom, boom, boom. It's communication. It's communion, right? That's what it says. Communication with God, communion with our creator. Communion is the sharing or exchanging of intimate thoughts and feelings. He gives me his thoughts. He gives me his feelings, which means I'm quiet, not talking. He got thoughts, right? He got feelings, right? He like to exchange, right? Which involves sometimes I say, let's stop cutting up in the comment section because what this is the Lord thoughts and feelings going forth. Could this be considered prayer? Could this be considered worship? The Lord's thoughts and feelings going forth, and we are being quiet. You just listen. That's what prayer is. It's not only us talking to the Lord, prayer is also him talking to us, which means heaven is open. There's an exchange taking forth. So when I'm preparing for the word and I'm writing down what the Lord is saying, I'm not talking, but he talking. So I'm writing with a pen and paper. I got receipts and a highlighter. This is him talking. This is him talking. This is him talking. I'm sitting up. I'm sitting all the way up. I ain't talking. I ain't running my mouth. That's him talking. I'm not talking. But that's prayer. When you open up the Bible and you read it, that's him talking. That's prayer. Today it says communication with God is more than just us talking. So let's embrace the fact that sometimes you communicate with the Lord. It ain't you opening your mouth. Sometimes it's you just we talk too much though. Real bad. So when I get agitated by folks who talk too much, I'm acting like my father. I'm acting like my God. If I'm a man of God, I'm going to act like him. So sometimes he'd be like, be quiet. Why is you talking so much? Why you write that whole paragraph that could have been just one sentence? That's God. I get that from him. I'm just playing for y'all get offended. Daniel heard about this law. And he unbothered this topic. These men have gone back and told the king, said, hey, my boy, hey, didn't you create a law that said we aren't supposed to be praying? But I just left David. No, I just left Daniel crib. You feel me? And you know, I got that religious spirit, so I was peeping through his window trying to figure out if he praying or not, because that's what the religious spirit do. That jealous spirit be just like that, trying to figure out what you do. I was peeping through his window. He was praying 3 times. So they done went back and snitched, trying to remind the king. And they was like, you remember you made this decree that any person who prays to anyone except you will be thrown into the den of lions. And there is like, yo, that decision stands. It is an official law of the Medes and Persians that cannot be revoked. Verse 13 through 14 says, then they told the king, that man Daniel, one of the captives from Judah, is ignoring you and your law. He still prays to his God 3 times a day. Hearing this, the king was deeply troubled, and he tried to think of a way to save Daniel. He spent the rest of the day looking for a way to get Daniel out of this predicament. There is the messed up, bro. He allowed his ego to get in the way and he has made a bad decision. And right now, Darius is shook. The word says he's deeply troubled. He's shook because Daniel is his friend. He's just not his co-worker. He really has favor towards Daniel. Nebuchadnezzar, the word says, had a dream and he was deeply troubled as well. He was shook from a dream. The Lord frightened him. That's how the Lord got his attention, through a dream. His lips got ashy. Belshazzar, who we talked about last time, was at a party at the club and he saw a hand writing on the wall. And the word says he was troubled and he got shook. His lips got ashy. Now Darius, another king, hadn't had a dream. He hadn't seen a hand writing on the wall, but he shook from a bad decision, a mistake. His lips ashy. He troubled. King Neb, King Belshazzar, and now King Darius all have received moments where they are bothered. Daniel not bothered though. His life on the line, he ain't bothered. Nebuchadnezzar's life wasn't on the line, but he bothered. Darius, your life ain't on the line, but you bothered. Belshazzar, your life ain't on the line, but you bothered. Daniel's life on the line, and he ain't even bothered. He just finished up his Chick-fil-A. And after we have seen Daniel go through all these situations, his life was on the line when it came to the interpretation of the dream. Because remember, King Nebuchadnezzar says, I'm going to unalive all the wise men because they cannot interpret this dream. But David received revelation from heaven, and he not only saved his life, he saved his homeboy's life, and he saved the other astrologers and sorcerers and fortune tellers of the land. He was like, don't bother them. I got the interpretation. So he wasn't even shook when his life was on the line then. The word does not communicate to us that he was shook when the Hebrew boys got through in the fiery furnace. Even the people, the men in the fiery furnace, it don't communicate to us that they were even shook. Daniel, homeboys in the fiery furnace, the word does not say that he was deeply troubled. And when he saw the hand on the wall, writing on the wall, he wasn't shook. He has been placed in a lot of situations that are life or death situations. And not one time has the word says he's troubled, which means he unbothered. Darius can't sleep. He trying to figure out a way how to right his wrongs. Verse 15 through 18 says, in the evening, the men went together to the king and said, Your Majesty, you know that according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, no law that the king signs can be changed. So at the last, the king gave orders for Daniel to be arrested and thrown into the den of lions. The king said to him, May your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you. A stone was brought and placed over the mouth of the den. The king sealed the stone with his royal seal and the seals of his nobles so that no one could rescue Daniel. Then the king returned to his palace and spent the night fasting. He refused his usual entertainment and couldn't sleep at all that night. Darius is in an unfixable situation. He's helpless. He's helpless. An innocent man about to die off your bad decision. An innocent man is about to die off your bad decision. And I don't know why this popped in my head earlier. And I used to be guilty of doing this myself. I don't think we really count up the cost with some of the decisions that we make. And I'm just going to use this example because I think it's going to resonate with somebody on this live tonight. We have to do a better job of considering the consequences of our bad decisions when we go out and we drink and we drive. Because you can take someone's life, innocent person, off one night. And I used to do it just casually, regularly, thinking nothing gonna happen to me. And thank God, because of his grace and his mercy and his long suffering, that nothing happened. But we just do it like, don't even be thinking about that you could take somebody's life off of a bad decision that you made. That's a nightmare now that I think about it. But that's just something that I used to just always do. What if something happened? What's going to happen to your kids if that happens? That wine is not that good. That club is not that lit. That music don't sound that good for you to put your life as well as someone else's life and everybody connected to you life on the line for a night of fun because you want to drink out of golden and silver cups that were supposed to be for the Lord, but you're worshiping idols with them. You see what happened to King Belshazzar? That's a helpless situation. That's something that you can't do nothing about. Darius is in a situation where he is helpless and he feels bad because Daniel is about to possibly die off a decision that he made. But see, God allows these type of situations to come into your life to interrupt. He's interrupting Darius's life. He interrupted King Nebuchadnezzar's life. He interrupted King Belshazzar's life. That's the Lord. When stuff comes into your life and the Lord is interrupting, that's him. That's the whole point. The Lord is coming in to interrupt your routine. He's using this situation to interrupt because the word says King Darius refused his usual entertainment. He couldn't even sleep. He spent the night fasting. No eating, no entertainment, no pleasure, and no sleep. Now, this is an unbelieving, polytheistic, worshiping king that's responding properly to an unfixable situation. How are we believers and we don't even respond like that? We do the opposite. As soon as we go through heartbreak, as soon as we get some bad news, we get entertained, we start eating, we start drinking, we start pleasuring ourselves. Bruh, that ain't the point. The point is for you to stop doing it. We are believers and don't even know how to respond. The whole point was for you to sacrifice and turn the volume down on the noise. That's what King Darius did. Again, this is a pagan, unbelieving, polytheistic, worshiping God, king that knows how to respond. We don't even do that. As soon as we get a heartbreak, let's go out for dinner. Let's go get drinks. Let's play PlayStation. Let's go sleep with somebody. Let's book a trip. You about to miss the revelation because that ain't what God wants you to do. He wants you to do exactly. He wants you put yourself on a fast. No, I'm about to get all the way off social media. This is a moment. This is a moment for King Darius. We see Daniel respond like this, not from a response to bad news. It's just his lifestyle. He do this stuff anyway. He went home after his Chick-fil-A. He ain't turned the TV on. He prayed to the Lord out the window towards Jerusalem. That's what he always do. Verse 19 through 22. Very early the next morning, the king got up and hurried out to the lion's den. When he got there, he called out in anguish, Daniel, Daniel, servant of the living God, was your God whom you serve so faithfully be able to rescue you from the lions? Boy, if I were Daniel, I'd be like, boy, get out my face, boy. You the reason why I'm in here anyway, boy. I ain't finna talk to you, boy. I almost lost my life over you, boy. I would have gave him the silent treatment. I wouldn't have said nothing, boy. I finna let him suffer. Darius with his scary self. You the reason I'm in here, boy. But Daniel ain't like me. Daniel on a whole different level. Daniel answered, long live the king. My God sent his angel to shut the lions' mouths so they would not hurt me, for I have been found innocent in his sight, and I have not wronged you, your majesty. See, Daniel on a different level, because I would have made him suffer. Y'all will have to. But look though. Daniel said, I have been found innocent in God's sight. Ooh, that's good, Nicole. Nicole said, Daniel is not matching energies. That's a good student. That sounds like something Reggie will say. Found innocent in God's sight. Yet the people found him guilty. But he said, I'm found innocent in the Lord's sight. And the revelation that I received to that is, it don't matter what man say. It don't matter what society say. It don't matter what social media say. It don't matter what your parents say. It don't matter what whoever says, including this the part, including yourself. It don't matter what you say about you. Because a lot of us don't really respond or adhere to the word of the Lord or what the Lord has said about us. Some of us walk in a lot of self-condemnation. You still beating yourself up for a decision that you made before you gave your life to the Lord. What has the Lord said about you? How about you start replaying that through your head instead of beating yourself up? It's called self-condemnation. You don't think that you're worthy. You don't think highly of yourself, but it's a thin line. I ain't saying get caught in arrogance, but what I'm saying, start saying what the Lord has said about you. Not this stuff that you've made up. I'm talking about the Lord has already called you a daughter. The Lord has already said that you are righteous and you are wonderfully made, but you ain't saying that. You still beating yourself up of what you did when you was in the world. Self-condemnation. So what I'm saying is, it don't even matter what you say about you. You got to respond and start to recite what the Lord has said about you. What did God say about you? Recite that. I'm talking about a rhema word. Don't go over there and steal no Proverbs 31. Don't stay out of Proverbs 31. Okay? Yeah. I don't want you to walk in self-condemnation, but I also don't want you to go over here and steal Proverbs 31 and just stamp it on your back like the Lord has said that about you. The Lord ain't said that about you now. You going too far. Now you ain't know, but I swear I know more Proverbs 31s. I swear everybody Proverbs 31. I swear. Everybody Proverbs 30. Boy, y'all know wore that out. I want to say, if I see Proverbs 31 on your page, I want to say red flag. I ain't gonna go that far, but I promise you, y'all have wore that Proverbs 31 smooth out. I promise you, I do not want it. I did, but I don't no more. I don't. I'm straight. God don't send me no Proverbs 31. I'm straight. Because we tore it up. It's tore up. It's tore up. I'm straight. Yeah. Yeah, y'all tore it up. Is it? But that's the only scripture y'all know. Boy, y'all done tore that up, boy, for real. No cap. Yeah, I need for us to get a Rhema word so we don't have to keep quoting Proverbs 31. See, if you get a Rhema word, you ain't got to rely on Proverbs 31. You got a specific word of what the Lord has specifically said about you that's not in these scriptures. He has revealed it to you, specifically to you. But when I see that, I was like, yeah, she ain't got no Rhema. She ain't got no Rhema word, a specific word on your life that the Lord has said to you specifically. Because if we did, we wouldn't have to use that so much. But don't let me get stuck there. Don't let me get stuck there. But look though. Daniel not matching energies. A lot of us preach a gospel, and a lot of us follow people who don't really do a good job of verbalizing and communicating this aspect of the journey, because we teach folks that God ain't gonna let you get in the lion's den. And God gonna rescue you out of the lion's den. But what if he don't? He did not save Daniel from the lion's den. He got in the lion's den with him. Our responsibility, whether it's a toxic relationship, whether it's a bad doctor's report, whether it's a lion den, a fiery furnace, a car accident, a broken leg, a broken heart, our responsibility is to invite him in. Sometimes he'll rescue you out of the lion's den. But right here we see where he got into the lion's den with Daniel. Just like he got into the fiery furnace with the Hebrew boys. Our responsibility is to invite him into whatever situation that we are in. Sometimes he'll rescue us and sometimes he won't. But I like this in Daniel 3, what the 3 Hebrew boys said. This is the type of mental that we have to have when it comes to lion dens, fiery furnaces. Daniel 3:16 says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But if he don't, that's the part where we leave out. What if he don't fix your situation? What if he don't take you out of the toxic relationship? What if he don't give you another job? What if he don't give you another child? What if he don't give you another wedding, another marriage? What if he don't? We want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue that you have set up. What if he don't? You still shouldn't bow to no other gods. Our responsibility is to invite him into the situation. Daniel has invited God into this lion's den, and the daggone angel came in and shut the mouth of the lions. But this is where we mess up at. Not only do we invite the Lord in, a lot of us try to figure it out ourselves. But this is another thing that we mess up, where we mess up at. Some of us don't start inviting the Lord into our situations until we see the fire, until we see the lions. That's when we start acting right. Why don't we start acting right before we see the fiery furnace or the lion's den? See, it ain't no lifestyle for you. It's not a lifestyle for us. Our relationship with the Lord is like a spare tire. When we have a blowout, that's the only time we pull it out. It should become a lifestyle. Me eating healthy is not a New Year's resolution. It's a lifestyle. Me working out is a lifestyle. Me in the devotion is a lifestyle. Me seeking the Lord is a lifestyle. Whether I got good news or bad news, whether I'm healthy or sick, rich or poor. We quote those vows at the wedding, but we don't quote them to the Lord. Let's make this a lifestyle. Like Daniel. So when we in the lion's den, we know exactly how to respond. Unbothered. Verse 23 says, the king was overjoyed and ordered that Daniel be lifted from the den. Not a scratch was found on him, for he had trusted his God. Now, we already know that Daniel is on a whole different level than me. Now, you may be on this level. I ain't on this level. But I ain't gonna lie. If I'm surrounded by some lions, my lips gonna be ashy. I'm gonna be scared. Real bad. Yeah, I ain't gonna be not bothered, but I'm gonna be shook, boy. I ain't sleeping at all. I'm looking at them lions all night because I don't know if they go change their mind or what. I know their mouths closed up, but they still got claws. They can claw me to death, Lord. I don't really know. So I'm shook. I'm probably not really energetic because I ain't sleep at all. Just imagine being in a lion's den and they ain't really doing nothing, but they in there. Nah, I'm shook. I know tongues weren't available in the Old Testament, but I finna be speaking tongues in the Old Testament. Real talk, because I don't really know. Like, nah, I'm shook. I'm shook. In the lion's den. I mean, I trust God, but I don't really know about that God. I don't really, I trust you. I do, but I ain't on down your level, bro. Not a scratch was found on him. That's impressive. That is very impressive. The word says in verse 23, not a scratch was found on him, for he had trusted his God. He trusted the Lord. Now it's easy for us to pull our little phone out and make a post. I trust the Lord. Post. It is easy for us to be in front of the camera at the gym, going down the road saying, I trust the Lord. We're singing it until you are put in a fire. When you get put in a fire or in a lion's den, that's when you go say, yeah, I trust him for real. See, you ain't been in no lion's den. So the trust and the love that you bragging about ain't been tested. But in that lion's den, God go say, if you trust me for real or not. God will pull your card, bro. And it says verse 24. Y'all like that note? I hit that note right there, but I be singing for real. I just be playing on you. I can say it for real. Verse 24 says, then the king then the king gave orders to arrest the men who had maliciously accused Daniel. I don't need to see no shade, but I see some shade. Some haters, boy. Then the king gave orders to arrest the men who had maliciously accused Daniel. He had thrown them into the lions den along with their wives and children. The lions leaped them and tore them apart before they even hit the floor of the den. Hold up, bro. Hold up. Look. Same king, King Darius. Same lions. Same den. Different results. These same lions did not bother Daniel at all. Not a scratch, the word says, was found on him. But now these same lions ate up the men who lied on Daniel, or the men who set up Daniel. But this is what sticks out to me the most. Not only did the men get ate up, their wives and children got ate up. The word says the lions leaped on them and tore them apart before they even hit the floor of the den. We have to understand that our decision making impact our wives and children, our husbands and children, our family members, and the people that are closest to us. Just as our obedience, our yes, can spare and save our families, our disobedience can destroy them as well. Their wives and children were destroyed because of these men's jealousy of Daniel. Lies and deceit against the wrong person. That's major. And I know we don't really be thinking about that with the decisions that we make. And I was talking to David earlier, my homeboy David. I hope he watching. And I talked to my little stepson this weekend. I said, bro, do you not understand when you walk in disobedience, the enemy may not can get to you, but the enemy can get to your mama. The enemy can get to your wife. The enemy can get to your sons and your daughters, because you over here not at the watchtower supposed to cover them. You over here living your best life. And he say, okay, I'm not going to bother you because you covered. But your son, I'm going to get him. Your daughter, I'm going to get him. Your wife, I'm going to get her. Your husband, I'm going to get him, because you ain't on your post. So while we outside making our lives about us, and we know better now, just know that the enemy has free reign to people that ain't got nothing to do with your disobedience. They just connected to you. And if I fall off, the Lord now already shown me the consequences of my disobedience. And I don't want that. I don't want that blood on my hand. Wives and children torn apart by lions. That's a serious business. That's serious business. We out here just dancing in a burning room, making our lives just about us. Sitting back talking about a son that's in the streets, and the reason he in the streets because of your lack of devotion. Talking about a wife that ain't acting right, and she ain't acting right because of your lack of devotion. Talking about a husband cheating on you. He's a narcissist, but maybe he cheating on you and a narcissist because that's a result of the consequences of your lack of devotion, and you making it about them, but this is about you. We don't think like that. We quick to point the finger. Household jacked up because of you. David's household was jacked up because of his disobedience. Yeah. But in the same breath, those individuals can be healed, can be spared, can be saved because of your devotion, because of your obedience. The word says, by his stripes we are healed. Men, husbands should love their wives as Christ loved the church. So by your stripes, Jesus stripes, we are healed. The husband's stripes, your wife will be healed. Your kids will be healed. By your stripes, bruh. By your stripes, mister. You do what you're supposed to do. You, as a man. Don't complain about a woman if you know you are compromised in your relationship with the Lord. You, sir. Verse 25 through 28, and I'm going to get up out of here. Then King Darius sent this message to the people of every race and nation and language throughout the world. Peace and prosperity to you. I decree that everyone throughout my kingdom should tremble with fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and he will endure forever. His kingdom will never be destroyed, and his rule will never end. He rescues and saves his people. He performs miraculous signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth. He has rescued Daniel from the power of the lions. So Daniel prospered during the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Unbothered is the topic tonight. Unbothered is the topic tonight. And I don't want us to just say that we are unbothered. I want us to be unbothered. We are surrounded by the lions. When the government is coming against our religion and our belief, when you get bad reports and life seems as though you're about to become consumed, it's an element and it's a dynamic of the Lord where you truly are being unbothered. And another word for this is peace. Not solitude, but peace. That peace that surpasses all understanding. You be wondering why you not bothered. Like, am I tripping? Hold on. I'm supposed to be bothered. Like, for real. Like, God, I'm supposed to be bothered. What's going on? I'm supposed to be bothered. Because it feels like I don't care. No, that's peace. Peace and being nonchalant, if they feel the same, I swear. I swear they feel the same. Because, bruh, like when I first started feeling that peace, I was like, bruh, do I not care? I don't want to get back to that point where I don't care, Lord. The Lord said, no, that's not you being nonchalant. I've healed your heart enough to where you ain't going to go back to there. That's what peace feels like. It feels like you don't care. You do care. You're just not allowing that to overwhelm you like it once did. You are stronger now. That's what it feels like. So when the peace that surpasses all understanding comes upon you, people going to be curious of why you're not bothered and they are. How you just lost a son and you seem as though you're not bothered. How you just buried your mama and you feel as though you're not bothered. It appears like, why you ain't upset? Peace. You can't even explain it. All you can say is Jesus. That's it, man. I know I'm supposed to be super upset right now, but I'm not. That's what peace feels like. Unbothered. We have access to that. But the access just don't come from us reciting it. The access like that don't come from us just going to church. The access comes from us spending intimate time with the Lord daily and as frequently as we can, praying throughout the day, reading your Bible, showing up here consistently, reading, meditating, all of those things, and you will see where the Lord gifts you with peace. It's a gift from your devotion. Not from singing a song, from your devotion. That's what we have seen in Daniel 6. Daniel got peace. He ain't bothered at all. But we look at his devotion. So you don't get the fruits and the gifts of the Spirit when you ain't willing to do what Daniel did. It comes from the devotion. It comes from that secret place. So it don't matter if they close the doors of the church. It don't matter if they send out a law that we can't pray or worship. You can't stop me. As long as you don't close up the doors of the secret place in which you can't do, I'm going to be unbothered. So let's really own the fact that the unbothered that we have been bragging about really just comes from a place of deceit. You bother for real. If you weren't bothered, you wouldn't have to drink. You wouldn't have to smoke. You wouldn't have to do none of, you would be able to sleep like a baby at night. I went to bed last night about what? I go to bed late. It'd be like 1:30. I woke up this morning like 7:30. I didn't even move the whole night, bro. I was still facing the same way I was facing when I went to sleep. And guess what? I rolled over and said, thank you, Jesus. Sleep like a rock. And I'm retired, so it ain't like I work no long hours. The Lord gifts you with rest. But I ain't moved the whole night. Like, normally I'm a flip, but I ain't even flip. From 1:30 to 7:30, but I was boom. But I was praying before I went to sleep. And I didn't fall asleep praying. I finished my prayer. But when I finished my prayer, guess what I did? So as I was shushing, the Holy Spirit rocked me to sleep, bro, and I ain't moved for 6 straight hours. And I say that because I meet a lot of people who don't have that luxury. They have trouble sleeping. And I'm like, what? I ain't never had that problem. But a lot of people do not sleep well. Could it be you don't sleep well because you're compromised in your devotion? I guarantee you open that Bible, you go to sleep. I promise you. You don't need no wine. You don't need no, I read the Bible, I guarantee you go to sleep. Unbothered is the topic tonight. We got to learn to be unbothered when we are surrounded by lions. And that's what we have seen Daniel illustrate for us tonight. It exists. We just got to tap into it. Any questions? Be unbothered, man. That's a whole flex to be unbothered for real. When you know you're supposed to. Well, YouTube was acting real stupid tonight. And I'm gonna have to research and see why it's acting like that. So I don't like that. But I do plan on reposting this. It just may be the audio. And y'all can check it out on my YouTube, Reggie Taylor 704. Please subscribe to my other social media platforms, #Reflections of Reggie. Your boy gonna pop up TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. My YouTube is Reggie Taylor 704. Is it wrong to fall asleep during prayer? No. God ain't God is not offended by a lot of stuff that we are offended by. It's equivalent to you falling asleep on the phone with somebody that you really like, that you really trying to get to know. It's not offensive. It's more like I'll just say it's not wrong. I do it all the time. And not saying that because I do it, it makes it right. But should you be doing it all the time? No, but sometimes you falling asleep to the person that you love the most. You do it with the natural people. Why wouldn't you do it with him? The last person that you want to talk to before you go to sleep is the Lord. And if the Lord really wants you to finish that prayer, please believe he gonna wake you up and you go pick right back up where you left off, but when you fell asleep. So I don't think, in my personal opinion, I don't have Bible to back it up. I don't think that God is truly offended if we fall asleep. It's better than falling asleep watching Netflix or scrolling on TikTok. How do you respond to others when they may perceive you as being that you don't care? Depends on who that individual is. If it's somebody that you're in an intimate relationship with, I will pull them to the side and just have a conversation with them and let them know that you do care. Although it may seem as though you may be displaying behavior that you don't care, but just let them know that's what peace look like. Because a lot of people don't know what peace look like. A lot of people call peace solitude. In actuality, no, peace look like you don't care. And so depending on the extent of the relationship, pull them to the side and say, hey, it's not that I don't care. I do care. That's a vulnerable statement. It's not that I don't care. I'm letting you know that I do care. But this is what peace look like. But for folks that you ain't in no relationship, you don't owe no folks no explanation. At least I don't. It was brought to my attention when I was in corporate America. One of my workers was like, "Bro, you act like you don't care." I was like, "Nah, bro, that's what peace look like." And I just left it at that. I didn't try to give no explanation to him. But if I'm in a relationship with somebody, like a romantic relationship with them, I'm gonna go into more detail and tell them like I do care. It ain't ever a moment, baby, where I don't care. You feel me? I don't care what my face look like. I don't care what I say. I'm letting you know right now. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts about it. I always care. But I got peace too. So get familiar with this because I'm going to show you peace. And it's my responsibility to show you this so you can mimic it. And I want you to walk into it in this as well. So we both can appear to be nonchalant, but we both know that we do care. And I'm going to make sure that I remind you, baby, I do care. I'm just chilling. You feel me? Any questions? Any more questions? Having trouble quitting smoking at this point. I don't know why I smoke. How can I get over this hurdle? What does I'm gonna ask you questions. What does your devotion, time spent with God, look like? Do you know anything about fasting? And what other areas in your life where you practice discipline? Appreciate it, Alicia. I don't want no Proverbs 31, but I still want a woman of peace. All day I practice. No, I don't think you understood my question. Mm-mm. What does your time spent with God look like? What areas in your life do you practice discipline? And do you fast? Don't say you spend time with the Lord all day. No, don't say that. No. This gonna be a conversation that needs to be had out, because in order for you to overcome something like that, you're gonna have to live a lifestyle of discipline. And normally, how God breaks strongholds like that, you have to start implementing a level of fasting, a lifestyle of fasting. Actually, that's how I was able to overcome some of my strongholds. But I had to be very intentional about spending time with the Lord. I had to do more than go to church. I had to spend time with the Lord every single day. Until this day, I still have to consistently, because I know if I don't, my flesh will get all the way out of pocket. So my devotion is my survival. If I don't, I'm gonna fall off. Oh yeah, you gotta do more than read a Bible verse in the morning. Tashay J says, "What do you think about someone not wanting to pray with you? Say it's personal time with God." It depends on it depends on who that person is. Um, what relationship is this person to you? Romantic relationship. Ooh. My boy said he don't want to pray with you. I don't like that. That's something you need to dig into. Um, what's his reasoning behind not wanting to pray with you? That shouldn't even be a question you having a he should be the one leading you in prayer. He should be asking you to pray, not you having to convince him to pray with you. Which kind of Bible are you reading from to help you understand the words? This is a New Living Translation. I recommend New Living Translation, NIV, Amplified Message. Also, go to subscribe to the Bible Project YouTube channel that'll help you get some background and context on the Bible when you're reading particular books. I also show up here consistently, and we go through the Bible verse by verse, chapter by chapter. We started in 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, 1st, 2nd Chronicles, 1st, 2nd Kings. Now we are in Daniel, and we go chapter by chapter, and I go verse by verse. So if you really want a clear understanding of the Bible, those are some resources, as well as download the YouVersion Bible app, and also download the Enduring Word app. Those will help you. Y'all don't know about no romantic relationship where he says it's personal time with God. I don't know about that, Tasha J. You may be dragging somebody to that's out of order. You need to be encouraging y'all to pray together, not talking about his personal time. What? Yeah, I don't really like that. Monique said that sister needs to pray a bold prayer regarding that gentleman. Well, y'all be going in. Y'all be nice, man. Yeah. That ain't nothing that I would encourage no man that I mentor. I would encourage myself to do that. That's not healthy, spiritually healthy. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Only been seeing him for 4 months. Okay. I'm sure if in that one behavior of him not wanting to pray with you, I'm sure there are other areas in his spirituality where there is some compromise and lack of relationship. So I wouldn't recommend, if you've been single for 5 years, are you rushing because you've been single for 5 years? Are you rushing? Chill out, man. Chill out, Biggie. He talking about making six. Chill out, man. I'm trying to be serious. Chill out, y'all. Trying to be professional. Chill out. My question to you would be like, why would you be single for 5 years? Yeah, she said I feel a rush. Why would you be single for 5 years and then entertain a man that I can tell from that one gesture that he is compromised in his spirituality? Which means you probably gonna have to drag him to the church or drag him to where he needs to be. Um, you just got to be patient. And what have you been doing in them 5 years for you to entertain somebody like that? That would be my question. I ain't saying he's no bad man. I'm just saying these are the questions you have to ask yourself. You've been single for 5 years. Why wouldn't you settle for a man that don't want to pray with you? Ooh. So he said he admitted that he was upset with God because of the death of his son. Yeah, he still got some healing to do because that's going to start to manifest in some toxic ways in your relationship because of his resentment and bitterness towards the Lord. And where resentment and bitterness increases, the capacity to love decreases. So you are already dealing with a man with a bitter heart. So his capacity to love you like the Lord requires him to love you, he's incapable of doing it because he just told you his heart is bitter. He can't love you like God requires him to love you. But you're going to be asking him to love you or do things that involve him loving you unconditionally. You going to get mad at him and he ain't got the ability to do it. So if it backfires, you can't get mad at him because you just already received a revelation. What the Lord requires his men and husbands to do, the man is already showing you he is incapable of doing it. He got to allow his heart to heal. And the healing probably more than likely is not going to take place while you're in the picture. Right now, you're probably a distraction because the time that he needs to be spending with the Lord, he probably spending with you. The healing ain't going to take place by him spending time with you. The healing is going to take place by him spending time with the Lord. But he probably compromised in his devotion because he over here trying to get to know you instead of getting to know the Lord. So you probably more than likely setting yourself up, baby. So you may have to have a hard conversation. And it go involve more than you just praying. But that's a man with a broken heart. Plus bitterness. And it don't sound like he knows he has the GPS of actually getting right. You don't even know. So there's a difference between having a broken heart and knowing what you need to do because deliverance is a process. He sounds like he don't even know. Unfortunately. So you rushing. You already said you rushing. So you don't want to prolong your process by rushing. So um, just invite the Lord into that situation. Say, Lord, I know that I've moved ahead of you regarding this situation, but I'm inviting you into this situation to either strengthen it or break it apart. Whatever you decide, I'm gonna go with it. And I know sometimes you will just break something up, but give me the ability to not try to put it back together, even though you have broken it up. Have you prayed that prayer? Because sometimes we pray stuff that's against the will of the Lord. You may be praying, Lord, change his heart, and that is good. But sometimes the Lord can change and transform a heart. That involves you getting out of the way. So he may break that thing up. Right now, you're a distraction. So he don't want to pray with you, maybe because the Lord don't want him to pray with you. That's by divine design. You in the way. She said, I have been praying. If he ain't for me, remove him. How long have you been praying it? I appreciate y'all hanging out. I appreciate the interaction tonight, all of that good stuff. I apologize for YouTube acting up. I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube, but I will replay and repost the audio version of this. If you want to support the ministry, my Cash App, my PayPal is REGG1414, REGG1414. My Venmo is Reggie-Taylor-1414. She said she been praying that since she met him. So what you saying is you just ignored all the red flags. After 5 years, you still ignoring red flags. Because I see 3 already. He won't pray with you. He got a broken heart. What's the other? And you said you rushing. And you've been praying for him since, been praying that prayer since the beginning. 4. To be honest with you, Mr. Shay J, I think you're a distraction for him and he's a distraction for you because how you talking, I don't even really think, I think you still need to be in process. If you ignore them red flags like that and you're allowing sympathy to cause you to compromise in your obedience, you probably need to be still in process yourself because you felt sorry for it. Not that the Lord told you, you said sympathy. Sympathy don't mean the voice of the Lord. Yeah, you probably still need to be in. Y'all are a distraction for each other, in my opinion. Yeah, you just like they played on Darius's ego, the enemy playing on your sympathy. So we appreciate your vulnerability and transparency. Pray you're able to get revelation and some courage to do what you know that the Lord is requiring you to do. I feel like you already know what you need to do. Some stuff don't involve you praying about it when you already know what you need to do. You need to pray for courage to obey. Dreams don't mean the voice of the Lord either. You need to pray courage for courage to obey, because I think you already know what you need to do. So again, appreciate your transparency. And I pray somebody else are able to get revelation, because there's a lot of women out here in the same situation you in. I have conversations like this all the time. I think a couple of weeks ago we had the conversation with a young lady in a similar situation as you in, and she showed up one time and we ain't saw her since. And all the women was feeling sorry for her, but she just had a moment. I pray you ain't just having a moment, that you really looking for some directions and guidance. But some people just be in a bad place and they come in, get their hit and disappear. We ain't saw that girl since. Not now time. She been gone. That's what I'm saying. Like, so it's all good. God, we just thank you for this word that went forth tonight. God, we pray that you give us this peace that surpasses all understanding. God, posture us and gives us the instructions and discipline to be able to receive this peace, this level of being unbothered by the circumstances, this peace that we don't have to label, or is really isolation. We don't want to brag about something that we don't possess. God, we just pray that you continue to draw us closer to you, and we continue to fellowship with you in the secret place. God, we pray that you give us the discipline to pray with our mouths closed, to be able to allow you to communicate with us and talk to us and reveal to you your feelings and thoughts about our lives and situations. Give us that discipline of prayer. God, give us an unction and a conviction to pray and to communicate to you throughout the day, while we're driving, while we're working, while we're watching a movie, or while we're showering, washing dishes, cleaning up, cooking. Those are opportunities where we can just converse with you, God, and just invite you into our lives. God, we know that prayer is an invitation for heaven to invade earth, and we don't ever want to experience a time or a moment in our lives where heaven is closed. We want to continue to bombard heaven individually and collectively as a community, to always have heaven open. And we know that we are humans, and sometimes we may forget, but we pray that we are close to you, and that even when Reggie is having a moment of humanity, that there are individuals out there that are praying on my behalf. And when they are having moments of humanity, that I am praying and close to you and allowing heaven to open over them, even when they aren't allowing heaven to open themselves. That's why we need to be covered. That's why we need community. That's why we need people close to you, to where you can whisper to us and say, hey, so-and-so not having a good day, so I need for you to pray for her. I need for you to pray for him. Let's keep each other covered. So God, we just thank you that you gave us that revelation, that nugget, that wisdom tonight, that we can learn to pray without ceasing all throughout the day. Help us to respond to the unfixable situations in our lives. Help us to make this a lifestyle and just not a moment, from a place of relationship and not emotional reaction. So God, we just thank you for giving us this story of Daniel. God, we thank you that you are giving us the ability to adapt and invite you into lion in the den type of moments, that we won't panic, because we know that you did not give us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. So God, thank you for this peace that surpasses all understanding. Thank you for this word. Thank you for this revelation. Thank you for your spirit, and thank you for this community. Thank you for hearing this prayer, and you always hear us when we pray. In Jesus' name, amen. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with your boy tonight. Again, I apologize for the YouTube. It's going to be up. It may be audio only, because I don't feel like editing no videos. And I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with YouTube. So I love y'all. See y'all next time. Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll finish talking about our boy Daniel. Holla at your boy. Boy, you tripping, boy.